तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
चैतन्य
मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं
साद्वैतं
साद्वैतं
परिजनसहितं
सावधूतं
कृष्णचैतन्यदेव
सहितं
श्री राधा
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
चैतन्य
पादान्
देवं
सहगण
श्री
ललिता
राधा
श्री
कृष्ण पादान्
विशाखान्वितांश्च
सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे
कृष्ण
कृष्ण करुणा
सिन्धु
सिन्धु
दीनबन्धो
दीनबन्धु
जगत्पते
जगत्पते
गोपेश
गोपेश
गोपिकाकान्त
गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त
राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते
नमोऽस्तुते
तप्त काञ्चन गौरङ्गी
गौरांगी
राधे
राधे
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते
श्रीदेवी
देवी
प्रणमामि
हरि प्रिये
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपा
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो
नमो
नमः
नमः।
श्रीकृष्ण
श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य
चैतन्य
प्रभु
प्रभुनित्यानन्द
श्री
अद्वैत
अद्वैत
गदाधर
गदाधार
श्रीवासादि
श्रीवासादि
गौरभक्तवृन्द
गौरभक्तवृन्दा
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण
कृष्ण
हरे हरे
हरे
हरे
राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
राम राम
राम
राम
राम
हरे
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 हरे हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
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 कृष्णा
कृष्ण
हरे
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 हरे हरे
हरे
राम
राम
हरे राम राम
राम
राम
राम
हरे
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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे हरे
हरे हरे
हरे राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
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 हरे
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 हरे।
all together नारायणं
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव
नरोत्तमं
देवीं
देवीं
सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीं
व्यासं ततो
ततो जयम्
जयमुदीरयेत्
उदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अबद्धेषु
अबद्धेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
सेवया
भगवती
भगवते
उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्ठिकी।
नैष्ठिकी कृष्णाय
कृष्णाय
वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय
देवकी
देवकीनन्दनाय
नन्दनाय च
च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
कुमाराय
गोविन्दाय
गोविन्दाय
नमो
नमो नमः।
नमः ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय ॐ
ॐ
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय
ॐ
ॐ
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय
वासुदेवाय।
कृष्ण गोविंद Hare Krishna. Prabhu, just remove sharing, then afterwards you can put.
Sure.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, those possible can switch on your videos. I will appreciate that. Okay, quickly let's take a quick revision of where we are. Which chapter are we in?
6th chapter.
6.
What is the title?
Conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva.
Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna, Ashwini Mataji, welcome to this class. Probably if you have any questions, maybe at the end we can discuss. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So we are in the sixth chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's titled of Conversation between Narada and Vyasa. So the previous chapter was that Vyasadeva was dissatisfied and his spiritual master Narada Muni appears there. So the conversation is going on. Narada Muni tells about his past life, previous life, where he was born as a son of a maid servant. Okay, so then how he served the Bhakti Vedantas, the sages who stayed with them for the Chatur months, 4 months, and how he served and how he heard Krishna Kada from them, and how those people, gave him a mantra for him to chant, and then how he went on. So he finishes his story in a short, but in the sixth chapter, Narada Muni again enquires. He is asking, tell me more details. I want to hear more about your activities, your birth. So he is inquiring what happened after those Bhakti Vedantas, after those sages who were with you for 4 months, after they left, what happened? Then how did you pass your life after initiation? So they gave the mantra, recently. Uh, Raman Prabhu. So Radha Raman Prabhu and Nitika Devi Dasi, both of them got initiated last week. Congratulate them. So they got initiated by His Holiness Vedavyas Maharaj. So like that, they made the small son, the 5 years old boy of the maid servant was initiated by the Bhakti Vedanta. So Vyasadeva is asking, what happened after they left and how did you pass your life and how were you able to remember your past life? So because Narada Muni is telling about his previous life, right? How could remember? Can any one of you remember your past life?
No.
Yeah. So Narada Muni so he is asking, this is astonished. So Vyasadeva is asking these questions. Then Narada Muni tells further about his story. He says how his mother was taking care of him. So he and his mother only were living together. And how one of the days his mother was milking a cow, and then there was a serpent which bit her, and then she died, leaving this small boy alone, often. So, and then, but the small boy, how did he feel? So, how did he feel? So, he said, it's a special mercy. I felt it as a special mercy that Lord has given us. Took away my mother, but is the special mercy is the benediction on me. So what he did afterwards, he says he traveled through various places, various metros, town, villages, forest, caves, lakes, mountains, caves, mines, everywhere he passed through, and then he was very tired. And finally he came to a place where there was a river, and then he drank some water. He was also hungry. He drank some water and sat below a banyan tree, and then he was meditating on Lord in his super soul and was telling the mantra what his sages Guru Maharajas have given him. So he was meditating the super soul within the heart. So when he was doing that in deep meditation, immediately he could see the Lord appearing within his heart. So for a momentary, he saw the Lord appearing within the heart. He was so blissful. He was full of happiness. But immediately he lost that form. Within the heart, he lost the form. So he was so dissatisfied. How is that I got the form of the Lord? I was meditating, but then I lost the Lord. So, but the Lord was so merciful, but he didn't show him again. So Narada Muni again tried to, concentrate more on his meditation to see the Lord, but he couldn't. So what happens is he could hear a voice of the Lord saying that, yes, you're trying very hard to come, but you may not be able to see me in this lifetime. Why you may not be able to see me in this lifetime? Anyone? Why did Lord say you cannot see me in this lifetime again?
He wasn't completely purified.
Yeah. So you are not fully purified. You are still in an immature stage and you have more services to do. All right. And then you are still, material attachment is still there. So once these are all gone, then you should be able to see me. That's what he was saying. Then another reason is also given by Narada Muni. He said it was also not just that reason, it was also that the desire, the more desire will be there for him to do that service, for him to get attached to the Lord. So to increase his desire, the more the hankering will be there. And that will lead to, once you are attached to Krishna, you will not be attached to material desires, material things. So that's the reason what happened. So that's the another reason told. And then Narada Muni says how, Lord was, how he was mentioning the importance of bhakti, the importance of devotional service, how important devotional service one has to take up for the absolute truth. So that would help one to fix firmly on me. And the another point he said, it is how permanent a bhakti is. We also seen earlier, how once a bhakti, if you do, It is a permanent credit for you. You can carry that forward for birth after birth after birth until you have no birth, right? So how is that? And that memory will continue even after very many times of creation and annihilation also. That's how. So in the 25th verse, Narada Muni concludes that how he was very gratitude. After Lord stopped speaking, he was gratitude. He was humble enough and he paid obeisances to the Lord, whatever he heard to the Lord. And the 26th verse talks about, what he did afterwards hearing. So he was following the instruction of the Lord. He was chanting the glories of the Lord, chanting Lord's name. He was remembering Lord all the time and he was traveling. So in that 26th verse, there are a few things told about what are the symptoms. So he became advanced. The basic point is after seeing the Lord within his heart and after hearing from the Lord, he started following the instruction of his Guru and Lord, and he is advancing in devotion. So he becomes fully satisfied, in devotion. It's called Tripti Mana. In the 26th verse, talks about Tripti Mana Gata Sprita. So he became free from material desire. And he was, sometimes when we are in a mode of goodness or if we do good devotional service, in fact, the pride becomes, one of the qualities of mode of goodness is a person becomes very pride. So, you should not have pride. That's another very important feature. So, Vimuda. So, he did not have any pride for the service, what he was doing. And very important quality of a pure devotee is he has to be non-envious. He should not be envious about any other person. So, all these qualities automatically he developed as he was doing the devotional service. He was glorifying the Lord. And the 26th verse, we finished last week with the 27th verse. What happened? So Narada Muni doing like this. Ultimately, what happened to him? Where did we conclude?
I think it's slok 28. He
No,
got the spiritual body by quitting his material body.
I didn't tell that last week. Where did we stop? He died.
Yeah, he
27th verse talks about in due course of time being absorbed in Krishna. He died and he got this spiritual body. I didn't mention that. I did not mention he got a spiritual body. I told,
maybe I read it for
yeah,
that.
I told you guys can read it and come back. So you already let out the cat out of the bag. Okay, good. So what is that? How is that? So once you leave this material body, will we be able to take a spiritual body? What happens to generally what happens once someone leaves this body?
He got a new body according to his.
No, he got generally. I'm talking general.
Yeah, generally people get new body according to his karma
Subtle body
and his
carries
conscious mind.
The subtle body goes with that.
Yeah.
The
So that's
ego and the
Kangana
soul.
Mataji. That is an after effect. You get a new body after some times. But once someone's soul is passing from this body, what happens is the gross body falls, right?
Hmm.
And then the subtle body carries the soul. So what is the subtle body?
It's the ego, intelligence, and
intelligence.
Yeah, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And the gross body is made of the
5 elements.
5 elements, Panchabhutas, right? So Panchabhutas we leave aside, but the subtle mind, intelligence, and false ego is the one which carries. We also see in Bhagavad Gita 15 chapter verse also how it carries from one body to another. Right? Then that carries to another body. So your mind, false ego, and intelligence from the previous body is always with you. So once we get liberated from that, that's where we go back to Godhead. So this mind, so that's why we have to spiritualize our mind and intelligence. And the false ego should become real ego, really identity. What is your identity? We have to understand that. All right. So let's go to today's verse 28. Okay. Any clarifications till now? We go back 20th verse. Prabhu, you can share now.
Yeah.
Those who wants to read can put your hands up. 1628.
I will read, bro.
Actually, one more point in the 27th. You go back to 27th. That verse, just go to the verse. Tadit Saudamani. If you see the verse and synonyms, you go. No, verse. Sanskrit, English verse. Not, yeah. So the last sentence, Tadit Saudamani Yata. So Tadit means lightning, Saudamani means illuminating. So what this word represents is the death, Kala, the death, how it came, like a lightning, the death came to him. But immediately he got a spiritual body, which is the illumination. So it says, being completely freed from all material ties, met with death as lightning and illumination occurred simultaneously. So I just wanted to highlight on that. So he gave up his gross body and subtle body, and he received a spiritual body. Okay, let's go to the next verse, bro. Yeah.
I read, Prabhu.
Yes, bro.
Yes. Okay. Hare Krishna. Prayuj Yamane Mayitam Sudham Bhagavatam Tanum Arabdha Karma Nirvano Nyapatat Pancha Bhautika. Translation: Having been awarded a transcendental body befitting an associate of the personality of Godhead, I quit the body made of five material elements, and thus all acquired fruitive results of work stop. Informed by the personality of Godhead that he would be awarded a transcendental body befitting the Lord's association, Narada got his spiritual body as soon as he quits his material body. This transcendental body is free from material affinity and invested with three preliminary transcendental qualities, namely eternity, freedom from the material modes, and freedom from reaction of fruitive activities. The material body is always afflicted with a lack of these three qualities. A devotee body becomes at once surcharged with the transcendental qualities as soon as he engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. It acts like a magnetic influence of a touchstone upon iron. The influence of transcendental devotional service is like that. Therefore, change of the body means stoppage of the reaction of three quality modes of material nature upon the pure devotee. There are many instances of this in the revealed scripture. Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj and many other devotees were able to see the personality of the Godhead face to face, apparently in the same body. This means the quality of devotee's body changes from material to transcendence. That is the opinion of the authorized Goswami via the authentic scripture. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that beginning from the Indragopa germ up to the great Indra, king of heaven, all living beings are subjected to the law of karma, are born to suffer and enjoy the fruitive results of their own work. Only the devotee is exempt from such reaction by the causeless mercy of the supreme authority of personality of Godhead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So what is this saying? So he got
So,
yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
yeah, so he got a transcendental body, as he was, his whole life he dedicated, associated, thinking about Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the end, after the death, he got a spiritual body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
No, there's
yeah,
another important point there.
um, so yeah, the other important point is because he's so associated with the God, the law of nature will remove all his karmas, and that will be stopped, and he won't be influenced or judged, right?
Yeah.
And that is how he got spiritual body straight away after the death.
So what is this karma about?
Um, the karma is, every day, whatever the karma activities that we do, right? And that has reaction. Right? Those things have stopped. And yeah.
Have you heard the term prarabdha karma? Prarabdha karma.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's prarabdha karma? Anyone?
Past karma.
Prarartha.
Is it destined?
Prarabdha karma. Huh?
Destined results? Oh.
I think it's past karma which happened in previous lives.
It collected the karma that we have collected from previous life.
The
Yeah.
karma which we have obviously we have done, but at the same time now it has started giving fruit. Like for example, like they say in one of the class that our body is prarabdha karma. We got this based on what we did in our past, so we can't change it. Secondly, basically whatever we are facing in this life, that's all prarabdha karma.
Yeah. So prarabdha karma, as Prabhu said, that is one which is presently inactive. So whatever you are currently going through in this life is because of, as you said, prarabdha karma is the past reactions. So based on that. But even though the past reactions are there, those past reactions are ready to become, inactive in the stage of action. So there are two things, aparabdha karma and prarabdha karma. So if you say aparabdha karma means you can take it as a, I would give an example as a pot full of some honey or something. So, but you take 1 cup of honey, from that pot and you're going to drink it. So that is prarabdha karma. The aparabdha karma, or also it is called as sanchita karma. So that's the karma which is storage, but it's not become active. The one which is active is your prarabdha karma. Okay, let me share one. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So this unmanifested reactions, now all your karmas you just think of as unmanifested reaction. Now when that become manifestation, currently what you are doing in your life, that is the prarabdha karma. It manifests. So because of that, you may either suffer or you may become happy. So if you are doing impious activities, this again goes back into that causes the based on the aprarabdha, the boast of sinful reactions past bad are there, that would have a sinful disposition. That's called kutam. And this is actually from Padma Puran. And then that would lead to sinful desire. And that desire would make you to do action. And again, based on your action, your reactions are stored there. And after sometimes it becomes manifested, and that's how you are either suffering or happiness comes. So why this happen is due to avidya, ignorance. So this is the cycle as per Padma Puran. So here what it is told is fruitive results, is parabdha karma is stopped. So in Bhagavad Gita we know there are 5 things, right? What are the 5 subject matters of Bhagavad Gita? Anyone?
Jeev.
Ishvara, Kala, Karma.
Guna.
Yeah. And
Guna.
what is the 5th one?
Material
Prakriti.
nature.
Prakriti, yes. Prakriti. All are eternal in nature, which cannot be changed except karma. That's where you see here the karma can be stopped. How the karma can be stopped? Through akarma, through devotional service. Right? So that's what is highlighted here. Thus, the acquired fruitive results of karma stopped. And it is not just the prarabdha karma stopping, you also have to get rid of the aprarabdha karma. So this time prarabdha karma goes, you finish, you die. But again, from the next life, you will take it from the aprarabdha karma. That what all manifest will come there, and that next life you will go on. But we have to get rid of that aprarabdha karma also. So devotional service also helps to disuse. That again, the mercy of the Lord is required. The mercy of your guru is required. All this karmas goes away. So once your karma is stopped, then you go back to Godhead, or you get a spiritual body. You don't more get a material body. All right, let's go to the next verse. Radha Raman Prabhu, you can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
कल्पान्त इति मादाय शायने मयि वैसे उदन्वतः शिशिविशोर अनुप्तम अनुप्रामं विश्वसेनातिर अहम विभो. Translation: At the end of the millennium, when the personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana, lay down within the water of devastation, Brahma began to enter into him, along with all creative elements, and I also entered through his breathing. Purport. Narada is known as the son of Brahma, as Lord Krishna is known as the son of Vasudeva. The personality of Godhead and his liberated devotees like Narada appeared in the material world by the same process. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, the birth and activities of the Lord are all transcendental. Therefore, according to authorized opinion, the birth of Narada as the son of Brahma is also a transcendental pastime. His appearance and disappearance are practically on the same level as that of the Lord. The Lord and his devotees. Prabhu, just put it up a little bit, Prabhu. Just have to. No, are therefore devotees are therefore simultaneously one and different as spiritual entities. They belong to the same category of transcendence. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Prabhu, just pull it down a little. I want to see the verse also. Yeah, so what is this verse talking about? So at the end of the millennium, what happened? What is the millennium? What is one kalpa?
At the end of the
End
Kalpa,
of
Prabhu.
Brahma's day.
Thousand.
Hmm?
Thousand yugas.
Yes, 1,000 years.
1,000 Chatur yugas, not yugas. Okay, all the 4 yugas together, put together, 1,000 times of that
1,000 times.
is a day. That's a 1 million. It's the day of Lord Brahma.
Lord Brahma.
So Kalpa Ante, at the end of Brahma's day. So Brahma's day is 4 Chatur yugas. So we know the Satya Yuga, Dwapar, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga is called Chatur yugas. And into 1,000 times. So this 4 things is called as a divine, Divya Yuga. So Divya Yuga into 1,000 is a day of Brahma. So at the end of Brahma, what happens? So what happens at the end of Brahma? Anyone?
Lord Narayana, just take it out all the universe, take it back in the
Pralay will happen.
Pralay. Yeah.
Pralay, annihilation. Where will the annihilation happen?
Lord Narayan's.
No. Annihilation happening to what? What is annihilated?
So all the planets, right, will be annihilated up to Svaraloka. Yeah, Svargaloka. Maharloka, if I'm right. Yeah. Below Maharloka, all planets will be destroyed,
Correct.
annihilated.
From Swargaloka downwards, all
It's-
planets will be annihilated. They will be burnt. They will be annihilated. The heat. So it is said, even recently, His Holiness Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was mentioning the Bhagat Bhagavatam. So even the Maharloka, second canto we're going through, in that also it is said, the Maharloka, because of the heat is happening below, even Swargaloka is burnt. Everything is annihilated. The heat is even felt at Maharloka. So people in the Maharloka will move on to the higher planets. Janaloka, Tabaloka, or above that. So they will move on because of the heat. So that's the situation. So all the lower planetary system will go down. That is during the night of Brahma. And generally Brahma also stays in the Satyaloka, right? That's where he stays. But this verse is telling that what happens to Brahma? What's happening there?
He will enter
Brahma
into
He will enter
Lord.
with all the creative enters into Narayana. Narayana. Yana means shelter. Nara is also means water. So one who's residing down in the water. So Brahma enters into that. And where is Narada Muni gone?
He
He
also
also entered through the
he also
breathing.
entered through the
He
breathing.
entered into Brahma. That's what it said. I entered through his breathings. So Brahma began to enter into Lord Narayan, where he is going to rest. And Narada Muni, he already got a spiritual body, right?
Mm.
So but generally we think that he is the son of Brahma, right? So
Hmm.
this is how he becomes the son of Brahma. He enters, he already got a spiritual body and he enters into Brahma. And then they reside within Lord Narayan. Who's this Narayan?
Garbhodaksai Vishnu.
Correct. He is Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who's at the bottom of this universe. Right. So he enters into that. Okay, can you pull it little up, Prabhu, for the purport? Yeah. And Prabhupada in the purport highlights, how the birth of Narada Muni comes. Like he is born to Brahma, we say. Like how Krishna, we say, he is born to Devaki and Vasudeva. Right? How do we understand that? Is Krishna taking birth for first time?
No.
He is unborn. Krishna is said to be Aja. Right? He is unborn. But it is a pastime. He comes and shows that although he is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So like that, they are comparing how Narada is born to Brahma. Even though Narada already got a spiritual body. Therefore, according to the birth of Narada, a son of Brahma, is also a transcendental pastime. His appearance and disappearance on practically on same level as that of the Lord. He is on the same level, but we cannot take him as the Lord. So that we have to be very careful on that. All right, are we clear on that? Let's go to the next verse. Rushan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. सहस्रयुगपर्यन्ते उत्थायेदं सिसृक्षत मरीचिमिश्रा ऋषयः प्राणेभ्योऽहं च जाग्निरे. Translation by doing Ray C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: After 4 trillion or 4 billion 300
4.3
million
billion years, yeah.
solar years, when Brahma awoke to create again by the will of the Lord, all the rishis like Marichi, Angira, Atri, and so on were created from the transcendental body of the Lord, and I also appeared along with them. Purport: The duration of a day in the life of Brahma is 4 billion 320 million solar years. This is stated also in the Bhagavad Gita. So for this period, Brahmaji rests in Yog Nidra within the body of the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, the generator of Brahma. Thus, after the sleeping period of Brahma, when there is again creation by the will of the Lord through the agency of Brahma, all the great rishis again appear from different parts of transcendental body, and Narad also appears. This means that Narad appears in the same transcendental body, just as a man awakens from sleep in the same body. Sri Narad is eternally free to move in all parts of the transcendental and material creations of the Almighty. He appears and disappears in his own transcendental body, which is without distinction of body and soul, unlike conditioned beings. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the description is given here that after the day of the night of Brahma has happened, then Brahma wakes up by the will of the Lord. And not only Brahma, there are also the rishis, the Sapta rishis, and other rishis also around. It is said around 10 rishis. They also come along with Narada Muni also appears along with them. from Garbha Daksha Vishnu. Jai Dharma Prabhu, next verse.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Antarbahishcha lokam strim parye mai askandita vritaha anugrahan mahavishnur avighata gati kvachit. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Since then, by the grace
Prabhu,
of
can you roll
Almighty,
it up?
since then
Quickly.
by the Since then, by the grace of Almighty Vishnu, I travel everywhere without restriction, both in the transcendental world and in the three divisions of the material world. This is because I am fixed in unbroken devotional service of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there are three divisions of the material spheres, namely Urdhvaloka, Madhyaloka, and Adholoka. Beyond the Urdhvaloka planets, that is to say above the Brahmaloka, are the material coverings of the universes, and above that is the spiritual sky, which is the unlimited in expansion, containing unlimited self-illuminated Vaikuntha planets inhabited by God Himself, along with associates who are all eternally liberated living entities. Sri Narada Muni could enter all these planets in both the material and spiritual spheres without any restrictions, as much as the Almighty Lord is free to move personally in any part of this creation. In the material world, the living beings are influenced by the three material modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. But Sri Narada Muni is transcendental to all these material modes, and thus he can travel everywhere unrestricted. He is a liberated spaceman. The causeless mercy of the Lord Vishnu is unparalleled, and such mercy is perceived by the devotees only by the grace of the Lord. Therefore, the devotees never fall down. But the materialists, that is, the fruity workers and the speculative philosophers, do fall down, being forced by their respective modes of nature. The rishis, as above mentioned, cannot enter into the transcendental world like Narada. This fact is disclosed in the Narasimha Purana. Rishis like Marichi are authorities in fruitive work, and rishis like Sanaka and Sanatana are authorities in philosophical speculation. But Sri Narada Muni is the prime authority for all the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. All the great authorities in the devotional service of the Lord follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni in order of Narada Bhakti Sutra, and therefore all the devotees of the Lord are unhesitatingly
Qualified to enter the
qualified to
kingdom.
enter into the kingdom of God, Vaikuntha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. All right. So key thing is here. So it's talking about what was Narada Muni's role afterwards, once in the next day of Brahma. So he is traveling everywhere without any restriction.
Restriction.
So where all
Restriction.
he is traveling? Where can he
Urdhvaloka,
travel?
Adhaloka, and Madhyaloka, the topmost planets, Earth as well as the downward planets.
Midway and downward.
That's all?
Material
No,
and
even the
spiritual.
spiritual planets as well.
Yeah.
All the spiritual.
All the
Even the
spiritual planets.
transcendental world and the three division of material world. So he can travel both in the spiritual and material
Material.
world in a
Yes.
simple understanding. So there is nothing for him stops it to going. So in the purport, can you just pull around the purport, Prabhu? Yeah. Already we talked about Urdhva Loka, Madhya Loka, and Adhoka Loka. But the point here is Narada Muni was transcendental to all the modes of material. So he can transfer like a spaceman. He says he is a liberated soul. He can travel anywhere. And if there is a comparison made with other devotees like Marichi. Rishis like Marichi, they are authorities of karma kandis, ritualistic work. And we talked about the Kumaras. They are more of a jnanis, philosophical speculation. But these people cannot travel like Narada Muni. So what the difference?
Devotion.
Exactly. So he is the prime authority of the transcendental devotional service of the Lord. So by doing devotional service, it shows how the benefits or the advantages of a devotee has. So all great authorities in devotion service of Lord should follow the footsteps of Narada Muni as per the Bhakti Sutra written by Narada Muni.
So Prabhu Hanuman also same, right? Like Narada, he can travel anywhere he likes. He's transcendental.
No, Hanuman had a power, but we cannot compare Hanuman with Narada Muni.
Narada.
Yeah. He is also a devotee of Lord Ram, but this is something different. Right. So Narada Muni is a preacher. Hanuman is a servitude. He serves Lord and he hears the Lord. So if you say wherever Rama's story are happening, Hanuman will be there. He said. Whereas if you see now at Narada Muni, he has converted. If you see full of Bhagavatam, how many disciples he is having? Prahlad Maharaj, Durva Maharaj, Prachetas, even Yudhishthir Maharaj, he comes and preaches him, right? Everyone he preaches. His role is preaching, devotional, spreading devotion. Whereas Hanuman is a Bhakta, Ram Bhakta. He's showing how a devotee should be like.
Those are Chiranjeevis actually, Prabhu. Chiranjeevis, they can live on earth eternally. I mean, they will not go to all the different lokas. So it is mainly for the earth only, earth planet.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's go to the next verse. Each one are unique in their own devotion. Yes, Bhupesh.
Text 32. Devadattam imam veenam swarbrahma vibhushitam murchaitva hari katham gayamanaschramyaham. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And thus I traveled constantly singing the transcendental message of the glories of the Lord, vibrating this instrument called a vina, which is charged with transcendental sound and which was given to me by Lord Krishna. Purport: the musical stringed instrument called the veena, which was handed to Narad by Lord Krishna, is described in the Linga Puran, and this is confirmed by Srila Jeev Goswami. This transcendental instrument is identical with Lord Sri Krishna and Narad because all of them are of the same transcendental category. Sound vibrated by the instrument cannot be material, and therefore the glories and the pastimes which are broadcast by the instrument of Narad are also transcendental without a tinge of material inebriety. The seven singing meters, namely Sa, Shadya, Ra, Rishabha, Ga, Gandhar, Ma, Madhyam, Pa, Pancham, Dha, Devat, and Ni, Nishad, are also transcendental and specifically meant for transcendental songs. As a pure devotee of Lord Shri, Narad Dev is always fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument, and thus he is always engaged in singing his transcendental glories and is therefore infallible in his exalted position. Following the footsteps of Sri Narad Muni, a self realized soul in the material world should also properly use the sound meters, namely sa, ra, Gama, etc., in the service of the Lord by constantly singing the glories of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So what is this verse talking, bro? So what Narada Muni is doing now? So he is traveling as usual, talking about the Hari Katha, singing constantly, the messages and glories of the Lord. And he's got a new item with him. What is that? This
Vina.
transcendental vina. Who is given that as per Linga
Lord,
Puran?
Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna himself has given, and Jiva Goswami has confirmed that. So
When was it given? Like, why was, or what was the reason for giving him, and why?
Okay. That's an instrument, Mataji. It's a sound vibrating instrument.
Yeah, but why he
For
gave
him
him?
to do the glorification, for his singing, the assisting is Hari Katha, Harinam. So when we are doing Harinam, what are we doing? We are having what?
Kartal.
Kartal, Mirdanga, right? And harmonia, right? And playing and doing. These are all instruments which are adding attraction to the Harinam.
But I don't think so. He has given instrument to anyone else. I'm just thinking why he was a special. He
Yeah,
gave him
Narada Muni
vina.
is special. He is the one world renowned preacher. He's a world famous preacher. Not only he preaches in material world, even he travels to the spiritual world also, right? He goes everywhere. So spiritual world, you don't need a preacher, but but his presence is always brings about devotion. In fact, there are a lot of significance. You have a good question here. So it's not that it's only Narada Muni is given. It's something. It represents his some talent he has in that. Like that, each one of us are also given some talent. So the point here is whatever is given to him and how he is using that in the service of the Lord. That's the key point here. So everything for us, whatever we got also is because of Lord Krishna, right? But we think that we got it, we got it, we purchased it, we did it. But everything, whatever we have, is actually given by Lord. How we put that in the service of the Lord, that's where is important. So his vina actually represents how God given talents. We may have talent. Someone can have a very good talent of cooking. How we are using that talents in the service of the Lord. Some can do very nice singing, voice would be there. How we use that voice in the service of the Lord. Some can speak very nicely. How you can use that in the service of preaching or giving the glories of the Lord. How preaching the Lord's activity, glorifying the Lord. Some may be a very good writer. How they can write very beautiful messages we can attract. So how you are using that service. So we have to, that is the representation of this vina. Something which is given by Lord as an instrument for him and how he is putting that in use in the service of the Lord.
Okay, then.
You okay, Mataji?
Yes.
So why he has given, he is the main preacher and Krishna is, that's again mercy of the Lord. So whatever we have got from the Lord is again mercy of the Lord. It's not that we achieved something, even though our past karmas may be there, but still it is a question of time. God can take it away. But He is given you, He asks you to use it to you. How we are putting it into our use. So that's very important. All right. What other points are there in the verse? Prabhupada highlights about the Sari, Gama, Pada, Nisa. How he is putting that into use for the transcendental songs. So yeah, Narada Muni is always fully fulfilling his obligation to the Lord for his gift of the instrument. And thus he is always engaged in singing his transcendental story. And in fact, if you see, I mean, even as we see in movies or everywhere, we can see always it's seen that Narada Muni is with Veena. It's part of his thing, right? It's part of the. Uh, okay, let's go to the next one. Swapnil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. प्रगयतः स्ववीर्याणि तीर्थपदः प्रियस्रवः अहुत इव मे शीघ्रं दर्शनं यति चेतसि. The translation by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories and activities are pleasing to hear, at once appears on the seat of my heart, as if called for as soon as I begin to chant his holy activities. Purport by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, the absolute personality of Godhead is not different from his transcendental name, form, pastimes, and the sound vibrations thereof. As soon as a pure devotee engages himself in the pure devotional service of hearing, chanting, and remembering the name, fame, and activities of the Lord, at once he becomes visible to the transcendental eyes of the pure devotee by reflecting himself on the mirror of the heart by spiritual television. Therefore, a pure devotee who is related with the Lord in loving transcendental service can experience the presence of the Lord at every moment. It is a natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoy his personal glories enumerated by others. That is a natural instinct. And the Lord, being also an individual personality like others, is not an exception to this psychology because psychological characteristics visible in the individual souls are but reflections of the same psychology in the absolute Lord. The only difference is that the Lord is the greatest personality of all and absolute in all his affairs. If therefore the Lord is attracted by the pure devotee's chanting of his glories, there is nothing astonishing. Since he is absolute, he can appear himself in the picture of his glorification, the two things being identical. Srila Narada chants the glorification of the Lord not for his personal benefit, but because the glorifications are identical with the Lord. Narada Muni penetrates into the presence of the Lord by the transcendental chanting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, it's a continuation to the previous verses, like how he is using his vina to go on glorifying the Lord's name. What happens when he is doing that? That's what is mentioned here. So when he is glorifying the activities of the Lord, so at once he could see that Lord appears within his heart, appears on the seat of my heart. That's what he says. Immediately, as it is called for. Once he chants, he or glorifies the Lord, he can see. If you see in the previous birth, he was hankering for that, right? He saw for a Lord for a moment, and then Lord disappeared, right? And now you see as an Narada Muni, he is just glorifying the Lord. When he is singing, then immediately Lord appears. So that's the power of chanting, as per Narada Muni. He says how the holy name or the glories of the Lord, when was sung or heard, when it's being spoken, you get Lord within his heart as soon as he begins chanting. So hearing and chanting invokes, the personal presence of the Lord. So we may be unqualified. Many people say, I'm very fallen soul, I'm unqualified, but we are not disqualified. So our qualification we gain through chanting, by speaking of the pastimes of the Lord, by glorification of the Lord. Right. So that's what Prabhupada mentions here. So Supreme Personality Godhead is non-different from his name, form, pastimes, and sound vibration. All right, let's go to the next verse.
Prabhuji, can we see the last few lines of this purport? I don't understand. So he is absolute. He can appear himself in the picture of his glorification. The two things being identical doesn't mean that when he's glorifying, he's God. He's the God himself, Lord himself, and the glorification is the Lord. That's what we say when we chant the
Which
vibration.
sentence, Mataji?
The
Here,
purport.
let's say the only difference from there, the only difference is that which sentence?
He is absolute. He can appear himself in the picture of his glorification.
Okay.
The two things
He can
being
appear himself
identical.
this picture of glory. Yeah, that's what we said. No, he is in Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. The first sentence itself, Rupa mentioned that. So Krishna is identical to his name. He is when you say his name Krishna, a devotee, immediately what do you incur? If I say Krishna to you, what do you think?
Yeah.
Do you not remember his form?
Yeah,
So how is his form? How do you remember his form?
through his name.
Picture or
No, I know his name. What form do you see?
Deity
His
form
original
or
form with
picture.
the
Yeah,
peacock.
Krishna has a peacock feather.
Yeah.
He has a flute, Tribhanga
Mm.
form. If you are Radha Gopinath, along with Radha Rani, if you go to temple
Yeah.
regularly, you have a association with the different deities. Maybe Kangana Mataji, who's in Alice Spring, she may have association with her deities. You remember that. Maybe Sham Sundar,
Mm.
someone can think of. So that name, once I say the name, can you not connect it with the Lord? So he is
Yeah.
identical. So not just his name. When I'm chanting, some song, right? Not the whole chanting holy name, but any other kirtan or any other songs of the Lord. So immediately you connect with the Lord. And then if you talk about any pastimes, now we are talking about Narada Muni's pastime. How Narada Muni or Krishna gave a vina to Narada Muni, right? So this pastime, again Krishna comes there. So all
So,
the name, fast form, pastime, the sound vibration through hearing. So are we really seeing Krishna here? We are seeing Krishna through our ears actually today, right? We are hearing through the story. So this is identical. So he is why? Because he is absolute. So that's the spiritual nature of the Lord. He is absolute in the form. He is not a material form. He can appear himself in the picture of his glorification. So all the things, two things are identical. Narada chants the glorification of Lord not for personal benefit. So Narada is not doing just for him also, right? He is doing it for others. Others also hear the name. Are they not benefited? Narada
yeah.
Muni, when he is glorifying, singing the pastime, there may be so many people interested. They come and hear those things. Glorification. So others are also benefited.
So, but
Okay.
then a last line is Narada Muni penetrates into the presence of Lord by transcendental chanting.
Yes, he
So,
penetrates into the ears of everyone by his chanting. He gives Krishna, right?
okay,
So we are
presence
all
of the
following
Lord.
Narada Muni's footsteps. We want to give Krishna, how Narada Muni has given to everyone. He has given Krishna to so many people. Like he gave Mandara, right? To Dhruva Muni, Dhruva, not
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Yeah. He first said, no, you are a very small boy. You cannot go into the forest. There are all wild lives here. He discouraged him, but he was very strong. Then he gave him, okay, this boy is now fit to take up. So he chooses. He can be a devotee, right? Then he gives him. He is so adamant, determined, Dridhavrta we call, determination. So how can one become a devotee unless you have determination? It's not just you come one time. It's not. That's why, as I said, it's not a Friday devotees or weekend devotees. We are devotees all the time. We have to be. So with determination, that determination need to be there.
Thank you,
So
Prabhu.
okay, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Thank you. Swapnil, Prabhu, you want to add something?
Question actually, because I work closely with people with disability. So often we come across people who can't speak or hear because they have impairment. So I'm sure, but how then? I'm just curious. How is there? Because listening and chanting, I mean, remembering is such a vital part for the devotional process. How can these people take up devotional process?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we have to use our intelligence and see how in what way we can use their service for any devotional process. Like I know many people who are blind, you know, we can see they can have a good voice, they sing. You see in India, like in the railway train and other things, the people will be blind, they can't see anything, but they're very good singers. Each one of them has some unique talents. So a real preacher or a devotion, we try to use their way to connect them with Krishna, how they can get connected with Krishna. So it's it all depends on intelligence of ourselves. Krishna gives that intelligence. Again, it's not our own intelligence. Krishna gives the intelligence how to put those people also into service. Maybe first how to get their attraction. No, they have other senses. Maybe the ears are not there. Maybe the eyes are there, right?
Yeah.
So I remember a story of Ramanujachari in Srirangam temple. One of these disciples or Ramanujachari, I'm not sure. So there was one person, a brahmachari. He was very much attracted to his girlfriend. When once the Lord was going on the cart, they take the Lord out on the cart on the streets, right? So everyone were praying to the Lord, and they were attracted to the Lord and doing worshipping the Lord. But this guy was, because he was attracted to a girl, probably the girl is going to be his future wife or something, is related to him. So he was so attracted, he was just looking into her only. And his guru was asking him, "Hey, Lord is going, you're not looking at the Lord, you are very much attracted towards this girl. So what is it?" He said, "Yes, I'm so attracted to the girl, especially her eyes are so attractive. So my eyes, I cannot live without him." So, but then, his guru finally said, "Okay, I will show another more attractive eyes. Will you be attracted?" "Yes, you show me." And next day he took him to the altar, and there he showed Ranganath and his eyes, and Lord showed to him his eyes. So he was so attracted from that day. He said, "Yes, this is the most attractive thing." So what I'm trying to tell is, in some way or the other, even though they're disabled, maybe the ears are not there. Maybe some other way they could be attracted, because Krishna is all attractive. Right, Prabhu? So we should think of the way in which they get attracted to that. But again, it is how is their conditioning. So they may be a pure atheistic kind of a people. It may take years together to bring them up. So it may not happen overnight. It all depends on what level they are. So if they are already had some previous bhakti or something, they heard Sukriti, if they heard about Lord's name, or we can read, you said they can't hear, right? So one way is to, picturize something to them. Various pastimes could be there, like Govardhan Leela pastime. We can talk about that. We
They
can
can
show
read
some
also, I
picture.
think.
Yeah, they can read also. So different ways. But the attraction, some way or the other, we have to give some attraction.
The other way I see is because they are disabled, right? So they have this material limitations where they won't be able to see, hear, or talk. That means they don't get influenced with the material surroundings, right? With the help of a pure devotee, still with the mercy of Krishna, um, you know, Krishna can invoke the devotion into those disabled people as well.
Thank you,
One of the
Prabhu.
best thing is to give them prasad. That would start them to do. Anyhow, all these people will be have some way or the other they eat, right? They have to eat.
Yes.
Yeah,
So prasad is one of the thing. Once you get in, then that you can transfer. Transformation starts.
that's right.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Actually, I don't want to really sidetrack this, but sorry, I have to ask this because this question comes to my mind all the time. So that's
Can we
right.
keep hold this question at the end, Prabhu? Sorry.
Sure, sure. I'll
Yeah.
separately ask you maybe.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
just maybe not to derail
Thank
anything.
you. Who wants to read next?
I can read, Prabhu.
Jayadharma. Yeah, yes, Kangana
Yep.
Mataji.
So, itadhiye atura chitanam matra isparshachya moha bhava sindhu plabodristu hari charanyo varnanam. Translation.
Anuvarnanam. Yeah.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is personally experienced by me that those who are always full of cares and anxieties due to desiring contact of the senses with their objects can cross the ocean of neiscience on a most suitable boat. The constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the personality of Godhead. Purport. The symptom of a living being is that he cannot remain silent even for some time. He must be doing something, thinking of something, or talking about something. Generally, the materialistic men think and discuss about subjects which satisfy their senses. But as these things are exercised under the influence of the external illusory energy, such sensual activities do not actually give them any satisfaction. On the contrary, they become full with the cares and anxieties. This is called Maya, or what is not. That which cannot give them satisfaction is accepted as an object for the satisfaction. So Narada Muni, by his personal experience, says that the satisfaction for such frustrated being engaged in sense gratification is to chant always the activities of the Lord. The point is that the subject matter only should be changed. No one can check the thinking activities of a living being, nor the feeling, willing, or working processes. But if one wants actual happiness, one must change the subject matter only. Instead of talking of the politics of a dying man, one might discuss the politics administered by the Lord Himself. Instead of relishing the activities of the cinema artist, one can turn his attention to the activities of the Lord with his eternal associates like the Gopis and the Lakshmis. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, by His causeless mercy, descend to the earth and manifest activities almost on the line of the worldly man. But at the same time, extraordinarily, because He is Almighty, he does so for the benefit of all the conditioned souls so that they can turn their attention to transcendence. By doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually be promoted to the transcendental position and easily cross the ocean of neiscience, the source of all the miseries. This is stated from personal experience by such an authority as Sri Narada Muni, and we can have the same experience also if we begin to follow the footsteps of the great sage, the dear most devotee of the Lord. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. You see the last three purports, Prabhupada hasn't mentioned we have to follow the footsteps. We have to follow the footsteps in all the purports, whatever we are reading. You know that. Okay, let's come to this verse. So here in this verse, there is an analogy mentioned. Can someone explain what is the analogy here?
It is saying like whatever we thinking, talking, and doing the material thing.
No, let's go to the translation. Purport will come next.
Bhavasindhu plava praspa.
Yeah, the
Translation.
ocean of ignorance or nescience.
Can you explain the analogy? Anyone?
The
Supnan,
boat,
Prabhu, you want to explain?
me?
Yeah.
Yes, Hare Krishna. So, the basically this whole life basically
No, no,
is,
no. This purport, what is the analogy mentioned? Not in the purport, in the translation.
yeah, translation, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so basically the analogy which they have given is the boat. They have compared basically in the translation, the boat has been compared to constant chanting of the transcendental activities of the Lord.
Mhm.
And that is the boat which will take us through the ocean of nescience
Mhm.
to the shore of Krishna. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So what is mentioned here is in this material world, all of us are full of anxieties, right? That's what it's always saying. Who are always full of cares and anxieties. We are so much attached to things. Either we are hankering or we lament. So we hanker for things which we don't have. We lament for things which we had, but it's no longer with us. So that's where we puts us into anxiety. So why is that happening? What is the root cause for anxiety? Due to desire.
Avidya.
Yeah,
Yeah,
desires.
avidya, desires. I'm just going by what is the translation. We can give more explanations. But due to desires, our anxieties. So how is that desires coming? Due to contact of our senses with sense
Senses.
objects. So this is going on. So this is leading to suffering. This is leading to miseries. So one has to come out of those suffering, miseries. We have, so that's the ocean. So it says it's an ocean of ignorance or neiscience. So this is leading to ocean of ignorance. So one has to come out of that. The most suitable boat is Hari Katha. That's what Hari Charanya Anu Varnanam. That's what it mentions here. So that is nothing but the constant chanting of transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari Katha. So that's the analogy mentioned here. Let's go to the. Are we clear in that? So the root cause of anxiety is due to our desiring for sense objects, right? Which is putting us deep into ignorance, in the ocean of the ignorance, or we, instead of getting sunk, we need a boat for us to come out, and that boat is nothing but Harikatha. That's the symptoms. So what's Prabhupada mentioning in the purport? He talks about Maya, right? What is Maya?
That which is not.
That which is not. We think something like that, that which is not. We think that is something, happiness is coming through. Prabhupada gives in the purport also, like, relishing activities of cinemas. Probably during that time, television was not much, I think, there during those days when Prabhupada written this purport. So today, mobiles are taking away most of our time, right? So many social media things are there. Facebook, Instagram, X. So it's taking away all of our time with mundane things. But there are also good things out of it. We can hear good lectures. We can see, various activities. Now Radha Yatra is going to come. We can see whatever happening. Recently Snan Yatra was there. So we can see what's happening in Jagannath Puri sitting over Sydney. Right. So we use that in the service of Lord and how to advance in Krishna consciousness. So by doing so, the conditioned soul will gradually promote to the transcendental position, and we can easily cross the ocean of neoscience. So that is full of miseries. Okay, let's go to the next verse. Who wants to read? Jai Dharma Prabhu. You want to read?
Yeah. Yamabhiryogapatay kamalobha hato muhu mukunda sevaya yadvat tatha madhana shamyati na shamyati.
Yeah.
Translation by His Grace. Srila Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is true that by practicing restraint of the senses by the yoga system, one can get relief from the disturbances of the desire and lust. But this is not sufficient to give satisfaction to the soul. For this, satisfaction is derived from the devotional service to the personality of Godhead. By Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yoga aims at controlling of the senses. By practicing of mystic process of bodily exercises in sitting, thinking, feeling, willing, concentrating, meditating, and at last being merged into the transcendence, one can control the senses. The senses are considered like worms, venomous serpents, and the yoga system is just to control them. On the other hand, Narada Muni recommends another method for controlling the senses in the transcendental loving service of Mukunda, the personality of Godhead. By his experience, he says that the devotional service to the Lord is more effective and practical than the system of artificially controlling the senses. In the service of the Lord Mukunda, the senses are transcendentally engaged. Thus, there is no chance of their being engaged in sense satisfaction. The senses want some more engagement. To check them artificially is no check at all, because as soon as there is some opportunity for enjoyment, the serpents like senses will certainly take advantage of it. There are so instances in history, just like Vishwamitra Muni's falling victim to the beauty of Menaka. But Thakura Haridasa was allured at midnight by the well-dressed Maya, and still she could not induce that great devotee into the trap. The whole idea is that without devotional service of the Lord, neither the yoga system nor dry philosophical speculation can ever become successful. Pure devotional service of the Lord without being tinged with fruitive work, mystic yoga, or speculative philosophy is the foremost procedure to attain self-realization. Such pure devotional service is transcendental in nature, and the systems of yoga and gnana are subordinate to such a process. When the transcendental devotional service is mixed with the subordinate process, it is no longer transcendental, but it is called mixed devotional service. Srila Vyasadeva, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam, will gradually develop all the different systems of transcendental realization in the text.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So, what is this verse talking about?
So it started with giving how one can control the senses artificially. I mean, the sense, at least, which if one's mind is wavering and too many disturbances and desires and lust, by practicing the yoga, they can definitely get over that during that moment. They can have control their senses. But the recommended process by, as explained in Bhagavatam, is Mukunda Seva, which is like doing the devotional service to the Lord Mukunda. So that way the senses get engaged, and that is more permanent and more blissful experience than practicing gnana or karma, which are also bona fide parts, but there is a bit of risk which has been given, like just like how the senses can be serpents. So once that control of senses is lost, they always again try to get a sense of enjoyment by engaging in sense pleasure activities. But like he has given some of the examples, Vishwamitra Muni falling the victim of Menaka, although he became the great devotee and he became the guru of Sri Ramchandra Bhagavan. But the point what he was trying to say is the devotees who were constantly engaged, like the example given, Haridas Thakur was allured, even though he was allured, but he could able to keep his attention and focus on the chanting of the holy names rather than getting disturbed, because he was completely engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord. So the disturbance, he could able to get away with and he could still able to engage his senses in the service of the Lord. So it's recommended that gradually one need to develop to that transcendental loving service of the Godhead.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Very nicely summarized. Yeah, the point is how it is connected. The previous verse we talked about Hari Katha is the only process, for one people who are getting attracted, through lust, through all the sense objects. So the question would come, why not the yoga practice? So because yoga practice, you can control your sense, you can control your mind and everything. So why Hari Katha? Why not we take yoga practice? And even Prabhupada puts, not just yoga, even the philosophical speculation. Why not that be, karma kanda? Why not that also satisfy? So what is mentioned here by Narada Muni is those can give relief, but they don't give satisfaction. So that's the key point here. So they may relieve you temporarily, but again your mind may dealt with it. So as Prabhu also mentioned in Prabhupada, Vishwamitra Muni, his name itself is Muni, he is a sage. He agitates on various philosophical items, but still he is fallen to victim. Whereas Haridas Thakur, who was a devotee, he was allured by a prostitute, he was not attracted to that. In fact, he did the other way. He converted that prostitute into a devotee. So that's the beauty of a devotee. That's what is highlighted here. Thank you. Prabhu, you want to add something? Swapnil Prabhu?
Will not take too much time, but based on my experience, before I turn to a devotional service, restraining the senses, yes, yoga does that actually, but basically the senses always seek enjoyment. And obviously, if we don't give something blissful like Krishna, then obviously they run out once the yoga system is done. Like you get off the mat, then the senses are happy to come back to their usual,
Yeah.
predisposition. So yes, I think that's my experience.
So really, as you said, in a yoga system, there are so many yoga practices in today's modern world has been taught. What is that is given to them to think of? Anyone know?
Emptiness,
Empty, void,
void,
void.
concentration on the breath.
Concentration. Maybe think on something like on the middle of the nose or something like that. That's Patanjali Yoga also teaches that. But then there should be something called Dharanasriya. You should meditate on some form. In the second canto, we will discuss about that. How the yoga, how they meditate. What is the Dharana Ashriya? Ashriya means taking shelter. Dharana means meditation. With the 8 stages of meditation. So in that it is told that people who are attracted to material things, they should be meditating on the Virat Rupa. Whereas those yogis who are not attracted to, material senses, material thing, so they should be meditating on the Paramatma, the four-handed form of Lord. So that we will see in the second canto. But what I'm saying is there should be some object for meditation rather than being void. But in spite of all those things, that yoga don't give that satisfaction. They may give relief. They may don't give the satisfaction. So devotion is the supreme, topmost yogic practice. Let's go to the next verse. Was not read today. Ankit Prabhu, Prashant Prabhu, anyone?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Sarvam tad idam akshatam yat prasto ham tava yangaha janma karma rahasyam me bhavatas cha atma toshanam. Translation. O Vyasadeva, you are freed from all sins. Thus, I have explained my birth and activities for self-realization as you asked. All this will be conducive for your personal satisfaction also. Purport. The process of devotional activities from the beginning to the stage of transcendence is all duly explained to satisfy the inquiries of Vyasadeva. Narada has explained how the seeds of devotional service were sown by transcendental association and how they gradually developed by hearing the sages. The result of such hearing is detachment from worldliness, so much so that even a small boy could receive the death news of his mother, who was his only caretaker, as the blessing of God, and at once he took the opportunity to search out the Lord. A sincere urge for having an interview with the Lord was also granted to him, although it is not possible for anyone to see the Lord with mundane eyes. He also explained how, by execution of pure transcendental service, one can get rid of the fruitive action of accumulative work, and how he transformed his material body into a spiritual one. The spiritual body is alone able to enter into the spiritual realm of the Lord, and no one but a pure devotee is eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. All the mysteries of transcendental realization are duly experienced by Narada Muni himself, and therefore, by hearing such an authority, one can have some idea of the results of devotional life, which are hardly delineated even in the original text of the Vedas. In the Vedas and Upanishad, there are only indirect hints to all this. Nothing is directly explained there, and therefore Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of all the Vedic trees of literature.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So this is actually the concluding verse of Narada Muni. So what he tells to Vyasadeva. So Vyasadeva, now you are free from all the sins. You have heard my pastimes. I've explained to my birth and activities how I've achieved my self-realization. Whatever you asked, so I've told you everything about me. This would also satisfy yourself. And Prabhupada in the purport, he condensed the entire, case study of Narada Muni, how Narada Muni developed his devotion, how the seed was sown in him, Bhakti Lata Bij, how that was sown in the heart of Narada Muni, and how the creeper has gone into the lotus feet of the Lord. How he gradually developed that through hearing from the sages. And what happened through hearing? He got detachment from worldliness. and he took the blessings, his mother passing away as the blessings. So he took opportunity of even the very challenges, whatever he faced. And he had a sincere urge to seek the Lord. He wanted to see the Lord. He wanted to serve the Lord. So Prabhupada highlights on these things. So the spiritual body. And he got a spiritual body. Can you scroll further, Prabhu? The spiritual body. So all the mysteries of transcendental realization are duly experienced by Narada Muni. So Narada Muni experienced, and he's sharing that. Maybe it's difficult for us to understand at this level, but we should appreciate the kind of transcendental realization Narada Muni had and the processes he went through, right? So Narada, Srimad Prabhupada mentioned that Srimad Bhagavatam is full of these kind of stories which inspires us. This is some of the uplifting stories. No, actually Narada Muni tells the story to uplift Vyasadeva. So hearing Narada Muni stories, we should also get some upliftment. What is the benefit of performing this level of devotional service? All right, let's go to the next verse. Nitigati Mataji, you want to read the next verse?
Sure, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Suta Vacha Evam Sambhashya Bhagavanam Narado Vasvisutam Amantra Vina Ranyan Yayo Yachid Yadrichiko Muni. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Suta Goswami said, thus addressing Vyasadeva, Srila Narada Muni took leave of him and vibrating on his vina instrument, he left to wander at his free will. Every living being is anxious for full freedom because that is his transcendental nature, and this freedom is obtained only through the transcendental service of the Lord, illusioned by the external energy. Everyone thinks that he is free, but actually he is bound by the laws of nature. A conditioned soul cannot really move from one place to another, even on this earth, and what to speak of one planet to another. But a full-fledged free soul like Narad, always engaged in chanting the Lord's glory, is free to move not only on earth but also in any part of the universe, as well as in any part of the spiritual sky. We can just imagine the extent and unlimitedness of his freedom, because which is as good as that of the Supreme Lord. There is no reason or obligation for his traveling, and no one can stop him from his free movement. Similarly, the transcendental system of devotional service is also free. It may or may not develop in a particular person even after he undergoes all the detailed formulas. Similarly, the association of the devotees is also free. Devotee is also free. One may be fortunate to have it, or one may not have it, even after thousands of endeavors. Therefore, in all spheres of devotional service, freedom is the main pivot. Can you scroll a bit up, Prabhuji? Thank you. Without freedom, there is no execution of devotional service. The freedom surrendered to the Lord does not mean that the devotee becomes dependent in every respect. To surrender unto the Lord through the transparent medium of the spiritual master is to attain complete freedom of life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
Okay,
Can you scroll down? Yeah. So as I said, the last verse. So Narada Muni concludes his discourse to Vyasadeva and he is leaving. So Suta Goswami now takes over. So this is Suta Goswami telling to the sages at Neiscience, right? So thus addressing Vyasadeva, Narada Muni took leave and vibrating on his vina instrument, he just left that place. He was at free will, right? So what is Prabhupada highlighting in his purport? Anyone?
So we think in this material world we are free from we have free will, but it's not free will. we are bound by the material energy, and it will bound us with the karmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Key point Prabhupada highlighting more about the free will, how we are free in this material world, right? So people used to ask me, so why not, no, Krishna is the Lord, why not Lord, put it, force on us to do these things? Why is asking, why are we tempted with these desires? If Lord has not given any desire to us, only desire is to serve the Lord. If that is there, then why would we be hankering for all these things? So it's a fault of Lord's creation, right? What do you think? I'm just putting what to say, devil's advocate.
God has given us.
So if God has not given all these options for us, we could only do service to the Lord. Because God has given these options, we are going towards that. Yeah, Mataji, you were mentioning something. You understood my question?
Yes, Prabhuji, just a little bit. I just want to try. God has given us free will, but God has given us scriptures as well. So God has instructed to follow the rules in the scriptures. So we just have to live our life according to scriptures. But if we don't follow those rules, we're just going on a different direction and we're not following anything. So that's why we're just getting.
No. The question is, why has he given the other options to us? If the other options are not there, we usually follow this.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Many people ask me this question, so I'm just putting it here.
Well, I think Prabhuji, we like to enjoy. That's why he has given lots of options. Maybe.
Yeah, then you enjoy. Why do you want all this devotion service, bhakti, Friday classes?
Maybe God wants us to be back with him. So that's why.
God wants. Okay.
It's all from our previous karmas. So we develop those desire to do those things.
I think, Prabhuji, this is a matter of love and and plus, it's a willing love. So you put your free will in exercise and you choose to love.
Yeah. Thanks, Prabhu. Thanks for sharing. Soumya Mataji, you put up your hand. Sorry.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing, Prabhuji. Use of free will so that it can purify our soul, so that we choose.
So actually, this purport answers that. If someone is asking, why I'm telling this is some could be a preacher. I have some teachers also here. You can be a preacher. Someone will ask you this question. Now, Prabhu, you're saying that you have to do all these things and all, but I have so many other things to do and other things. Why I have to do other things if Lord has forced me to do? So no one is asking you. If you ask someone, if someone is not loving you at all, you go put a gun on their head and say, no, you have to love me, you have to love me. How will that be? Is be forcing someone. Krishna doesn't want to force us. That is why he has given us a free will. So that's what Prabhupada highlights here. So we have the freedom to surrender to Lord. That does not mean that devotee becomes a surrender means people get frightened. I have to surrender to some guru. I have to surrender to someone. So we have to listen to all those things. So they get it afraid. They feel that freedom is controlled by someone else, right? But you don't understand actually that is a liberation. That's actually the other way about. So if we surrender to the Lord, we feel that Lord takes care of us. So we are not in that anxiety. We become more free rather than become tighten ourselves. Yeah, thanks, Shaumya Mataji, thanks Prashant Prabhu for nicely putting it. Yes, that love and affection is based on our free will and Lord's will has to be merged. That's where things comes. It's not that it has to be in unicorn. It has to go in the same direction rather than in friction mode. That's the thing. So the Lord doesn't want to force. Even Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, it's my opinion. He is not forcing Arjuna. All right, let's go to the next one. Anyone else want to add something on this? Bhupesh Babu, you want to add something or you want to read?
No, Prabhu, just I raised for reading.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. Probably this is the last verse of this chapter.
Aho devarshir dhanyo aham yat kirtim sharang gadhanvanaha gayan madhyan idam tantrya ramayate aturam jagat. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glory and success to Srila Narad Muni because he glorifies the activities of the personality of Godhead, and so doing, he himself takes pleasure and also enlivens all the distressed souls of the universe. Purport: Sri Narad Muni plays on his instrument to glorify the transcendental activities of the Lord and to give relief to all the miserable living entities of the universe. No one is happy here within the universe, and what is felt as happiness is Maya illusion. The illusionary energy of the Lord is so strong that even the hog who lives on the filthy stool feels happy. No one can be truly happy within the material world. Srila Narad Muni, in order to enlighten the miserable inhabitants, wanders everywhere. His mission is to get them back home, back to Godhead. That is the mission of all the genuine devotees of the Lord, following the footsteps of the great sage. The thus end of the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, sixth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Conversation between Narad and Vyasa. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for concluding. Yeah, if you see, in fact, one more point in the previous verse I forgot to mention. The word Bhagavan is also used. Suta Goswami calls Narada Muni as Bhagavan, right? But it doesn't mean that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is highlighting how great Mahatma Narada Muni is. And in this verse, Suta Goswami glorifies Narada Muni. He says all glories and success to Narada Muni for what? So he is for glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's what we talk about, I mean, to approach Krishna, you have to go through a pure devotee. So here, Sutta Goswami glorifies Narada Muni. We can glorify a devotee also, a pure devotee. And we get this. So that's what we talk about, in ISKCON, we talk about the servant of a servant. So rather doing servant, service to a servant. Right? So here Narada Muni leaves that place playing his vina, freely preaching to everyone, all the distressed souls. Basically, it's for benefits of those distressed souls. So in doing so, he also, while doing, is taking the pressure, but also he enlivens, he brings, all the, blesses all the distressed, anxiety full of people. All right, Hare Krishna. Let's go to the next chapter. Any reflections? Are we clear now? So what is this story about? I mean, related to what? How is the story coming as part of this?
Is it from the Mahabharata?
No, I'm not asking. In Srimad Bhagavatam, why is this story coming up? Why is the Suta Goswami talking about this story?
You mean the one which we read or the one which is coming from?
No, one which we read or
Both.
the one which is coming next. Yeah, the title is there, but still it continues. Still up to next 10 verses continues on the same mood. Anyone can tell. Why is the story of Vyasadeva, Narada Muni and all came?
Because the Parikshit, because the questions were, these stories were narrated at the time of the Parikshit when he was about to die.
Not really.
I mean, Vyasadeva was not satisfied despite he has written so many Puranas and Mahabharata. And so since he approached Narada Muni, he tried to inspire him
No,
by
that's correct, Prabhu. Why is this story coming here? I'm asking.
I think the
Okay,
Saunka Risi was asking with Suta Goswami regarding how this Bhagavatam
Exactly.
appeared.
That's the point I'm trying to add.
Yeah.
So this is in the fourth chapter. If you see, there were three questions asked by the sages. Saunka Rishi is asking on behalf of the sages to Suta Goswami. One is talk about Srimad Bhagavatam, how it came. Then he is asking about what is the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. And the third question is, how did Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami meet? So as I told you, this entire canto is up to 19 chapter is going to deal with only these three questions. Now the first question was based on how Srimad Bhagavatam, history of Srimad Bhagavatam is told. So that's concluding in this 7th chapter up to 14th verse, I think. Afterward, the next question will take up. So this 7th chapter is titled as the son of Drona punished, but it is related to the second question, Parikshit Maharaj. So it's talking about how Parikshit Maharaj birth. So from middle of, not middle, from 14th, 15th verse onwards, up to 18th chapter of this first canto will talk about the birth and activities of Parikshit Maharaj. And the 19th chapter will talk about Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami meeting. Are we clear? So that's what I'm trying to tell. So let's see. This is still continuing. So then Saunka Rishi. So the summary of this entire chapter we'll do next week. So but meantime we'll do this few verses now. That's another. Who wants to do? Swapnil Prabhu, you wanted to do? You put your hand sometimes back.
Yes. I would like to do that. Hare Krishna. Shaunak Uvacha Nirgate Narade Sutta Bhagavan Badaryanah Srutavams Tad Abhipretam Tatah Kim Akarod Vibhuhu. Translation by Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Rishi Shaunaka asked, O Suta, the great and transcendently powerful Vyasadeva heard everything from Sri Narad Muni. So after Narada's departure, what did Vyasadeva do? Purport. In this chapter, the clue for describing Srimad Bhagavatam is picked up as Maharaj Parikshit is miraculously saved in the womb of his mother. This was caused by Drauni, Ashwathama, Acharya Drona's son, who killed the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were asleep, for which he was punished by Arjun. Before commencing the great epic Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Vyasadeva realized the whole truth by trance in devotion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very wonderful. Prabhupada starts off the, if you see in Bhagavad Gita or any Bhagavatam also, the first purport of the chapter, Prabhupada highlights, what is going to come in that chapter. And the last purport of that chapter, Prabhupada tried to summarize what happened so far. So actually in the purport, if you see, he is talking about Ashwatthama Droni. That's related to the title, but not related to this translation, right? So here, basically, Saunka Rishi now asking Suta Goswami. So after the great discourse what Narada Muni gave to Vyasadeva, after he heard everything, what did Vyasadeva do? That's the question, right? So how is this question applicable to us? That's very important. It's not just Saunka Rishi is asking to Suta Goswami. How we have to take this question? The key thing is here is spiritual master. His spiritual master has given him some instruction, right? How he has taken that. How, whether he has applied that or not, or just hearing. We hear something, we get the knowledge, but what we do about it, that's the question. Many people listen to so many things, but few of them follow, few of them transfer, right? So that's the thing here. So I just want to finish up with this. So how much so the basic thing is we are just not listening to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, how much we intake it and how much our life is transformed out of it. It's not writing the exams, passing the exam, memorizing the slogas, telling the slogas. That's all part of it. But how is our life transformed? What are we doing about it? That's what is Prabhupada's Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita talking about. So, and that's nothing but the examples here of how, how a disciple takes the instructions of his spiritual master, how he is performing that, how is he following that. That's going to come next week. It's already 9:01, so I will stop here. Hare Krishna. Any reflections you can? Anyone wants to add something before I stop recording? Okay, all good.
Prabhuji,